different types of neurons in the retina. So this is one of these, 100 types of neurons. This made us think that the way to look at different cell types, adherence, and we found that there are a couple labs interested in DSCM and this question of cell avoidance.
This device, we call it the Synaestheatre, and all it is an application that runs off of a standard iPod or iPhone. And what it does is it takes 3D information in front of the device and it turns it into spatialized sounds. So if there's an obstacle on your left-hand side, you will hear a sound emanating from the left-hand side. If it gets closer to you, then it will get louder. And the idea is to have these fully blind individuals try out this technology, see what sort of abilities they have with this technology, how we can enhance safety, how we can enhance independence, and also even just a visual curiosity about the world. And what we do is we have these individuals try out this technology, we take their feedback, and then we change the technology based on that. Okay, this research is happening at NYU Langone Health at the Neuroimaging and Visual Science Lab, headed up by Kevin Chan. So his research looks at how using this type of technology that turns vision into sound actually recruits the visual areas of the brain in fully blind individuals. This will end up with sort of effectively creating an additional sense for blind individuals to help them when it comes to sort of navigating around, locating objects, sort of general safety and independence. Since most blind individuals have a smartphone, this effectively means that the cost of this technology is nothing. And what it does is by enhancing sort of independence, safety, and all of these other aspects in day-to-day life, that we can actually save on the financial costs associated with blindness. So, for example, someone with mild visual impairments would expect to have an additional cost of about $12,000. Someone who's fully blind would be about $24,000. And if they require carers, it goes up to $55,000 per year. I have to count. Okay. You might have a particular sort of frequency of rainfall.
And now I got him in front of me.
See, now you can hear the cameraman. What I'd like to do is to try out some different sound qualities, just so you can sort of see a little bit about like the versatility of this kind of technology. So remember, this is just running off of an everyday sort of iPhone or an iPod. So like the idea is that the cost to the end user would be nothing.
As I was sitting there listening to the device, when someone would step in front of me, the sound was even. If it was off to my left or my right, the sound would be off to my left or my right. And then if there was an obstacle that was at an angle or just slightly, just a small, would be a limb or something sticking out because he stuck his arm out in front, I could hear it. If it was from the right, I could hear it, the sound coming from the right to the left. And if it was an angle, it was also rising or falling. So depending on where the obstacle was at was the pitch. So it was very interesting to hear that and be able to discern how the pitch of the sound related to where the obstacle was at. So I'm excited to see how this can go forward in the future, and because I could already think of many ways it could help a lot of our visually impaired men and women in the United States.
I think his initial impression was quite positive. As he he could basically track me as I was moving around him quite easily just using the sounds.
So this is a very interesting concept in my viewpoint that I really hope can get expanded on, because there's all sorts of technology out there. The more technology we have to help the visually impaired and blind, the better and more normal our lives are. I've had a chance to try several different devices over the years, and in the 12 and a half years that I've been visually impaired, it's amazing. One, the white cane, it's been around for hundreds of years. It works, but it's a reactive device. I used to use a guide dog, which was fantastic because then it wasn't a reactive device, it was proactive. But my dog would get tired after a long day. And I've had a chance to use many other devices, whether it's a little radar device that attaches to my cane that can announce when I've got obstacles up over my head, or whether it's been a type of goggles you could put on that has a camera that enhances what you see a little bit and makes what, like my vision being blurry, it'll help clarify what I'm trying to see. So we're by no means to the point of Geordie LaForge, who can see better than people with normal eyesight on Star Trek. But I hopefully we can get to a point where maybe we can be restoring vision or completely replacing vision within my lifetime. An advantage of having it here where the politicians can see it is they can understand the need for research monies to get into the hands of the folks that are doing the research. I have a good friend of mine who's wheelchair bound. He's lost both of his legs, but he can still drive. He can hop in his car and go where he needs to go because he can use hand controls. There are devices that are out there that can give a person who's lost their foot an articulating ankle or a knee that can be adjusted with a push of a button to work where they need it. But we haven't had the ability to restore eyesight yet. And that's where it's key to understand that there's still a need out there. We have many men and women across this country and around the world who've lost vision that are looking for ways to try to get that normalcy back, and visual research is going to be key for that.
This type of technology can be on anyone's smartphone. We're currently concentrating on iPhones, and different iPhones have different capabilities, but we're turning all types of visual information into sound. So this can really work on any type of smartphone.
The eyes are the window to our soul. It's the way that we interact with the world. It's the way that we move around. Humans are really visual creatures. That's how we communicate. It's how we see our environment. We do everything with our eyes. And if we lose our eyesight, it has major implications for how we go about our daily lives. There are patients who are more afraid of losing their vision than they are of losing an arm. So it matters quite a bit to the way that we operate in the world. And so it's essential to have these tools to understand the progression of the disease so that we can stop people from going blind, to preserve their sight, because it has such a big impact on the day-to-day lives of everyone.
This is the number one sense that people would not want to lose. Being able to see is a vital part of how we move through our environment and interact with people. And it's something that we want to make sure that we're able to maintain. Injuries, disease, these things happen when you least expect it, and we want to be able to have the tools and the knowledge to be able to prevent disease and then protect during injury. And what's really beautiful about vision research is we know that the retina is actually a piece of the brain, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. So you can actually address a lot of even just sort of circuitry and brain questions in a very, very nice way, because it's sitting right in the front of your face, so you can actually see some of what's happening in the brain very accessibly. So I think that as a whole, the vision community has a lot to offer to even just the broader neuroscience community, to the broader sort of scientific community, as well as to actual vision community itself.
Vision is one of our most precious senses, and people fear vision loss more than any other type of impairment. I see patients who have suffered vision loss, and now we're trying to enhance their vision. And so I see their fear firsthand, and I want to put myself to action to try to solve those problems for them with unique engineering solutions.
As friends,